Yo, David Prather with the Hercules rap. Yo, my name is Hercules. I know you heard of me, and you think you know my story from the movies and TV. I'm the greatest Greek hero in history. I'm here to set the record straight, so forget about Disney. My daddy was Zeus, the king of the gods, and that's how I came by my awesome bod. My mama was Alcmene, a beauty of her day. Well, she caught Zeus's eye, and I was born the next day. Now Zeus's wife Hera was less than pleased. Yes, the queen of the gods had it in for me. She sent 2 snakes right into my cradle, but even as a baby, my grip was fatal. So I grew up and I became a man. You might say I'm the original Superman. But it's because of 12 labors that you know my name. So let me tell you what I did at the top of my game. I served the king named Eurystheus for 12 long years. Now listen to my labors. Let me bend your ears. Number 1 was a lion by the name of Nemean, and no sword or arrow could ever pierce his skin, so I picked him up and I gave him a hug, and now that lion ain't nothing but a shaggy old rug. Number 2 was the Hydra with many heads. I'd cut one off and leave him for dead, but 2 more would grow back and try to bite me. He was the meanest monster to ever fight me. So I got a little help from my nephew Aeolus. We finally put an end to the Hydra thus. I'd cut off the head and he'd burn the stump, and we finally say goodnight to that Hydra chump. Then it was off to track down the Eurymanthian boar. After battling the Hydra was an easy chore. I scared him out of his lair with a mighty shout, then chased him into the snow and grabbed him by the snout. I threw him over my shoulder and ignored his squeals. I showed that pesky pig Hercules is for reals. My 4th labor was a task for a virgin goddess, the queen of the hunt by the name of Artemis. I tracked the hind of Chaeronea with antlers of gold for 1 full year, if the truth be told. And when I finally caught up and had that deer in my grasp, the goddess made me set him free. What a pain in the alas. So after Artemis and I exchanged some angry words, it was off to take care of the Stymphalian birds, who had taken up refuge in the Arcadian wood and were eating all the crops. They were up to no good. So with the help of Athena and a loud bronze rattle, I scared the birds all away and moved on to some cattle who were stinking up the stables of a man named Aegeus. I mean, the muck was piled up all the way to his knees. With a shovel, I'd never have got that funky stall clean, so I used my strength to redirect a stream and washed away all that manure from that funky stable, then sat down to steak dinner at the good king's table. Well, that's half of my labors if you keep in score. I told you about 6 and I got 6 more. I caught the Cretan bull and the horses of Diomedes, the 7th and 8th labors of Hercules. Now I hope my 9th labor won't shock no one. I had to steal the girdle from an Amazon. You know, the women warriors who, if they lived today, would probably be shooting hoops in the WNBA. Now I know it isn't nice, I know it isn't polite, but I snatched that girdle right off of Hippolyte. Then everybody saw what nobody had seen, the amazing body of the Amazon queen. Then I headed out west, where I had to overthrow a triple-headed monster and his dog, Ortho. I slew the dog and his master Geryon, then rode the ocean stream home in the cup of the sun. My penultimate task, before I could be released, was to pick the golden apples of Hesperides. While I held up the sky for a guy named Atlas, he picked the apples for me, and he came back hatless. Well, that was it. I was finally done, and my name was known to everybody under the sun. I had finished my job, unlike that poor Sisyphus, so the gods asked me to join them up on Mount Olympus, and that's where I am today with the other immortals. Now, if I made you laugh, if I made you chortle, you'd be doing no harm, you'd be breaking no laws to let Hercules hear it with a round of applause.